The soup incident. A mother's reckoning. The tomato bisque was still dripping from my eyelashes when I realized that 23 years of biting my tongue had finally come to an end. It happened on a Thursday evening in October, the kind of crisp autumn day when the world smells like wood smoke and possibility. I had driven 45 minutes to my son Marcus's house in the suburbs, carefully balancing a homemade apple pie on the passenger seat, practicing my smile in the rearview mirror. I'd been practicing that smile for 5 years now, ever since Marcus married Vivienne Hartwell, the woman currently standing over me with an empty soup bowl and absolutely no remorse on her perfectly contoured face. "Oh my," Vivienne said, her voice dripping with false concern. "How clumsy of you, Patricia." "You really should watch where you're going." I hadn't been going anywhere. I'd been sitting at their dining table, making small talk about the weather, when Vivienne had accidentally tilted her bowl forward, sending scalding soup directly into my face. My skin burned. My eyes watered. But something else burned hotter, a rage I'd been suppressing since the day Marcus first brought this woman home. "Mom? Mom, are you okay?" Marcus rushed over with the kitchen towel, his face twisted with concern. At 30 years old, my son still had the same worried expression he'd worn as a little boy whenever I got hurt. But he was looking at me, not at his wife. He never looked at his wife with anything but adoration. "I'm fine, sweetheart," I managed, dabbing at my face. The soup had already left angry red marks across my cheeks and forehead. "Just a little accident." "Such a terrible accident," Vivienne cooed, but her ice-blue eyes told a different story. They always did. She'd been telling me different stories for 5 years, stories Marcus never saw, never believed, never even considered. The first story had been told at their engagement party, when she'd whispered in my ear while Marcus gave a toast. "I'm going to make sure he forgets you exist." I'd thought she was joking. She wasn't. The second story came at their wedding, when she'd deliberately left my name off the family introductions. "And Marcus's father would be so proud," the MC had announced. No mention of the mother who'd raised him alone after his father died, who'd worked 3 jobs to put him through college. There had been dozens of stories since then. The Christmas when my gift was accidentally thrown away. The birthday dinners I was uninvited to at the last minute. The grandchild I wasn't allowed to babysit alone because Vivienne didn't trust my outdated parenting methods. But the soup? The soup was the final story. "Let me help you clean up," Marcus said, still hovering. "No need," I said, standing up. My legs felt steadier than I expected. "I think I need to go home." "But you just got here," Marcus protested. "And you brought pie. We haven't even had dessert." "I'm not feeling well," I said, which was true. I felt sick to my stomach, but not from the soup. From 5 years of swallowing my pride, my anger, my truth. "I'll call you tomorrow, honey." "Let me walk you out," Marcus offered, but Vivienne's hand landed on his shoulder. "Darling, your mother is clearly fine." "And we need to clean up this mess before it stains the carpet. You know how expensive that Persian rug was?" The Persian rug that I'd been told, pointedly, was far too valuable for me to stand on with my cheap shoes. Marcus hesitated, torn between his mother and his wife. I'd seen this hesitation 1,000 times before. It always ended the same way. "Go on, sweetheart," I said softly. take care of your wife. I walked out of that house with tomato bisque in my hair and fire in my chest. The drive home was a blur. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. When I finally pulled into my driveway, I sat in the darkness for a long moment, staring at my modest one-story home. The home where I'd raised Marcus alone, where every corner held memories of bedtime stories and scraped knees and homework help at the kitchen table. Inside, I went straight to the bathroom mirror. The burns weren't as bad as they felt, but they were visible. Red splotches covered my face like an abstract painting. I looked like I'd been attacked, because I had been. I picked up my phone, my hands shaking. For 5 years, I'd kept silent. For 5 years, I'd told myself that speaking up would only drive Marcus further away. For 5 years, I'd been the bigger person. But you can only be the bigger person for so long before you realize you're just being a doormat. I scrolled through my contacts and stopped at a name I hadn't called in years. Detective Jennifer Chen. Jennifer and I had been college roommates, lifelong friends. She'd climbed the ranks in the police department while I'd built my career as a school counselor. We'd drifted apart over the years. Life had gotten busy, but we still exchanged Christmas cards. And I still remembered that she'd once told me, "Patricia, if you ever need anything at all, you call me." It was 9:47 p.m. Late, but not too late. I pressed call. "Patricia?" Jennifer's voice came through, surprised but warm. "Is everything okay?" And suddenly, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Everything came pouring out. 5 years of accumulated pain, humiliation, and abuse. I told her about the whispered threats, the deliberate exclusions, the psychological warfare that Vivienne had been waging against me. I told her about the birthdays I'd missed, the grandchild I barely knew, the son who'd been slowly turned against me. And I told her about the soup. "Jesus, Patricia," Jennifer breathed when I finally finished. "Why didn't you call me sooner?" "Because I didn't want to be dramatic," I said, my voice cracking. "Because I thought if I just kept quiet, kept being nice, eventually she'd accept me. Because Marcus is happy, and I didn't want to ruin that." "Patricia, this is abuse. Elder abuse, technically, though you're only, 53? 52? Still, this behavior is unacceptable. Do you have photos of the burns?" I hadn't even thought of that. "No, but I can take some." "Do it now. Document everything. And Patricia, I want you to think about something. Have you noticed any other strange behavior from Vivienne? Anything that seemed off beyond just being mean to you?" I paused, thinking. She's very controlling. Of Marcus. Of their home. Of their daughter. She makes all the decisions. Marcus used to be so independent, so confident. Now he second-guesses everything. Has she ever been violent with him? Not that I've seen, but I wouldn't know, would I? I'm barely allowed in their lives. Jennifer was quiet for a moment. "Patricia, I'm going to do some checking. Vivienne Hartwell, right? Maiden name?" "Lancaster. Vivienne Lancaster." "Got it. I'll call you back. In the meantime, take those photos, write down everything you remember. Dates, incidents, witnesses if there were any. Build your case." "My case?" "Jennifer, I'm not trying to prosecute her. I just want my son back." "I know, honey, but trust me on this. Document everything." After we hung up, I did as she asked. I took photos of my burns from multiple angles. I opened a blank document on my laptop and started typing. The words came faster than I expected. December 2019, engagement party. Vivienne tells me she'll make Marcus forget I exist. June 2020, wedding. My name is omitted from family introductions despite being the only parent present. December 2020, Christmas. My gift to Marcus, a watch that belonged to his father, is accidentally thrown away. Vivienne claims it was cheap looking. March 2021, Emma is born. I'm not called until 3 days later. When I visit the hospital, Vivienne makes it clear I'm not to hold my granddaughter without supervision. On and on it went. Page after page of small cruelties, calculated slights, systematic isolation. Seeing it all written down, I realized how bad it had really been, how much I'd normalized. I was still typing at midnight when my phone rang. Jennifer. Patricia, we need to talk. Can I come over? Now? Now! 20 minutes later, Jennifer Chen was sitting in my living room, her detective's badge clipped to her belt, her expression grave. Tell me you found something, I said, setting a cup of coffee in front of her. I found a lot of somethings. Patricia, your daughter-in-law isn't who she says she is. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? Jennifer pulled out a tablet, tapping through screens. Vivienne Lancaster, born in Greenwich, Connecticut, daughter of Richard and Marlene Lancaster. Graduated from Yale, worked in marketing. That's the story, right? That's what Marcus told me. Most of it's true, but there are some interesting gaps. Jennifer turned the tablet toward me. Vivienne was married before? Did you know that? I stared at the marriage certificate on the screen. Vivienne Lancaster to Michael Brennan, dated 2015. No, Marcus never mentioned. He probably doesn't know. The marriage lasted 18 months. Want to know why it ended? I nodded, unable to speak. Michael Brennan filed for divorce and a restraining order. Claims of emotional abuse, coercive control, and one documented incident of assault. He stated that Vivienne had systematically isolated him from his family and friends, controlled all their finances, and monitored his every move. When he tried to leave, she threw a plate at his head, required stitches. The coffee cup trembled in my hands. Does Marcus know any of this? I doubt it. The records are sealed. Divorce settlements often are. But I have connections. Jennifer swiped to another document. And that's not all. After the divorce, Vivienne's parents took out a restraining order against her, too. Her own parents? Her own parents. According to the filing, she threatened her mother during an argument about the divorce. The restraining order was temporary and eventually dropped, but the pattern is there. Vivienne has a history of violence and control, particularly with people who are supposed to love her. I felt like I was falling through space. She's doing to Marcus what she did to her first husband. I think so. And Patricia? I think she sees you as a threat. You're the one person who knew Marcus before her, who loves him unconditionally, who might actually get through to him. So she's been working to eliminate you from the picture. The soup was probably an escalation. If you'd been seriously injured, she could have played the concerned daughter-in-law. Oh, poor Patricia is so clumsy. But she was testing boundaries, seeing how far she could go. Violence often escalates. I need to tell Marcus. Jennifer grabbed my hand. Wait. If you go to Marcus now, upset and making accusations, Vivienne will spin it. She'll paint you as jealous, as crazy, as trying to break up his marriage. You'll play right into her hands. Then what do I do? Jennifer smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. We play chess, not checkers. I'm going to make a few more calls, pull a few more strings. You're going to wait. And when the time is right, we're going to make one phone call that changes everything. What kind of phone call? The kind that brings the truth into the light. The next 3 days were agony. Marcus called twice. Once to check if I was feeling better, once to apologize for the accident. I played along, keeping my voice light, pretending the burns on my face weren't a constant reminder of my daughter-in-law's cruelty. Jennifer called every few hours with updates. She tracked down Michael Brennan, Vivienne's ex-husband. He was willing to talk. She'd contacted Vivienne's parents through intermediaries. They were hesitant, but concerned. She'd even found a therapist who'd treated Vivienne briefly after the divorce, couldn't share details due to confidentiality, but confirmed concerning patterns of behavior. We're building a complete picture, Jennifer explained. When we make our move, Marcus won't be able to deny it. What move? I kept asking. Trust me. On the 4th day, Sunday morning, my phone rang. Marcus. Mom, can you come over for lunch? Vivienne feels terrible about what happened. She wants to apologize. My heart raced. I don't think that's a good idea, honey. Please? She's really upset. She even made your favorite, lasagna. Vivienne had never made me anything, let alone my favorite food. This was a trap. Marcus. Mom, just give her a chance. For me? And there it was. The plea I could never resist. For me. I called Jennifer immediately. She's trying to smooth things over, Jennifer said. Probably worried you'll make trouble. This is actually perfect. Go to lunch. Are you insane? I'm serious. Go to lunch, wear a wire, and let her talk. We need documentation. We need proof. Your word against hers won't be enough for Marcus. A wire? Jennifer, I'm a school counselor, not a spy. It's just an app on your phone. Records everything. Keep your phone in your pocket, keep the conversation going, and let Vivienne show her true colors. What if she doesn't? Then we try something else. But Patricia? People like Vivienne can't help themselves. They always overplay their hand. So that's how I found myself back at Marcus's house on Sunday afternoon, my phone recording in my cardigan pocket, my heart hammering against my ribs. Vivienne answered the door in a cream cashmere sweater and designer jeans, her smile as fake as her eyelashes. Patricia, I'm so glad you came. Come in, come in. Marcus appeared behind her, little Emma on his hip. My granddaughter was 3 now, with dark curls like Marcus had at that age. She barely knew me. Hi, Grandma, Emma said shyly. Hi, sweetheart. I wanted to scoop her up, cover her face with kisses. But I held back. Boundaries, always boundaries. Lunch was exactly as uncomfortable as I'd expected. Vivienne served lasagna and kept up a steady stream of pleasant chatter. The weather, Emma's preschool, a vacation they were planning. Marcus looked relieved that we were getting along. I waited for the other shoe to drop. It happened after Marcus took Emma upstairs for her nap. Vivienne's smile vanished the moment we were alone. Let's cut the shit, Patricia. I blinked at the sudden venom in her voice. Excuse me? You know exactly what I mean. You've been circling like a vulture for 5 years, waiting for your chance to sink your claws back into Marcus. But he's mine now. This family is mine. Marcus is my son,
Marcus is my husband, and Emma is my daughter. You're just the woman who gave birth to him.
That's all you've ever been. My phone was recording. Keep her talking. I've tried to be kind to you, Vivienne. I've tried to be welcoming. You've tried to be relevant, but you're not. You're just a sad, lonely woman who can't accept that her son grew up and chose someone better. Is that why you threw soup in my face? Her expression didn't change. That was an accident. No, it wasn't. Just like nothing you've done to me has been an accident. Vivienne leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. Prove it. Go ahead. Tell Marcus that his devoted wife has been mean to his mommy. See who he believes. See who he chooses. Why do you hate me so much? I don't hate you, Patricia. I just don't need you. And neither does Marcus. We're building a life here, a perfect life, and you don't fit into it. You're a reminder of his past, of his father dying, of being poor and struggling. I've given him a better life. You've isolated him. I've focused him. He doesn't need anyone but me and Emma. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can stop embarrassing yourself by showing up here with your pathetic pies and your desperate smiles. Footsteps on the stairs. Marcus returning. Vivienne's expression transformed instantly, warmth flooding back into her face. More wine, Patricia? You've barely touched your glass. I stared at her, amazed by the seamless shift. This was a performance she'd perfected, but she'd made one critical mistake. She'd underestimated me. That evening, I sat in Jennifer's office at the police station, listening to the recording with a satisfaction I hadn't felt in years. This is good, Jennifer said. Really good. We have her on tape admitting to the soup incident, admitting to deliberately isolating Marcus, showing clear manipulation. Combined with everything else I've dug up, we have a case. A case for what? For intervention, for getting Marcus to see the truth. Patricia, I think it's time to make that phone call. To Marcus? No, to someone much more effective. Jennifer dialed a number, put her phone on speaker. It rang twice before a woman's voice answered. Lancaster residence. Mrs. Lancaster, this is Detective Jennifer Chen with the NYPD. I'm calling about your daughter, Vivienne. There was a sharp intake of breath. What's she done now? Marlene Lancaster arrived the next morning. She was a slim, elegant woman in her 60s, wearing pearls and carrying a Hermes bag. But her eyes were tired, sad in a way that spoke of long-carried burdens. We met at a cafe downtown, neutral territory. Jennifer made the introductions. Mrs. Lancaster, thank you for coming. Marlene, please. She looked at me. You must be Patricia, the mother-in-law. The target, I corrected. Marlene sighed. My daughter is unwell. She has been for a long time. We've tried to help her. Therapy, medication, family counseling. Nothing works. She's convinced that the world is against her, that everyone is trying to take what's hers. And when she fixates on someone, she trailed off. She destroys them. I finished. Yes. Marlene's eyes filled with tears. We lost her first husband. Michael was a good man, and Vivienne nearly broke him. When we tried to intervene, she cut us off completely. We haven't seen our granddaughter in over a year. Emma, we send gifts, cards, they're all returned. Vivienne has convinced Marcus that we're toxic, that we tried to ruin her first marriage. Marlene dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. So, when Detective Chen called and said there was another victim, another mother being isolated. I had to come. I couldn't let it happen again. Jennifer leaned forward.
Marlene, we need your help. We need to stage an intervention. Show Marcus who his wife really is. But we have to do it carefully. If we push too hard, Vivienne will convince him we're all conspiring against her.
What do you need from me? I need you to call your daughter. Tell her you want to reconcile. Ask to meet her and Marcus for dinner. Somewhere public.
She won't come.
She hasn't spoken to me in over a year. She will, I said quietly. Because she'll want to control the narrative. She'll want to show Marcus that her parents are the problem, not her. She can't resist the opportunity to prove she's the victim. Marlene looked at me with new respect. You understand her. I've had 5 years to study her. The dinner was set for Thursday night at Quattro, an upscale Italian restaurant downtown. Marcus called me, confused and excited. Mom, you'll never believe this. Vivienne's parents called out of the blue. They want to meet for dinner to apologize for the past. Viv is nervous, but I think it's great. Family healing, you know. That sounds wonderful, honey. They invited you too. I guess Vivienne told them about the soup incident.
And they want to make sure you know they raised her better than that. Can you come? Hook, line, sinker. Of course, Marcus, I wouldn't miss it. Thursday evening, I dressed carefully. Nothing too fancy, nothing that would make me look like I was trying too hard. Just a simple black dress and the pearls Marcus's father had given me for our 10th anniversary. Jennifer met me in the parking lot. You ready for this? I've been ready for 5 years. Remember, let them talk. Let Vivienne incriminate herself. We'll be nearby if things go south. You really think they will? Jennifer's expression was grim. People like Vivienne hate being cornered, and tonight she's going to realize she's been backed into a corner. Inside Quattro, the lighting was soft, romantic. I spotted Marcus immediately. He was already seated at a large table near the back, Emma coloring in a booster seat beside him. Vivienne sat across from him, her posture rigid, and across from her sat Marlene and Richard Lancaster. Mom! Marcus stood up to hug me. I'm so glad you're here. This is incredible, right? Vivienne's parents actually reached out. Incredible, I agreed, taking my seat next to Marlene. Vivienne's eyes were daggers. She knew something was wrong, but she couldn't figure out what. Yet. Dinner started pleasantly enough. Richard asked about Marcus's work. Marlene cooed over Emma. I made small talk about the menu. Vivienne sat silent, her jaw clenched, her hands gripping her wine glass like a lifeline. Then Marlene made her move. Vivienne, darling, your father and I have been thinking. We've missed so much of Emma's life. We'd love to plan a family vacation, all of us. Maybe the vineyard next summer? We're busy next summer, Vivienne said flatly. Then the summer after. We just want to be part of your lives again. Marlene reached across the table, trying to take her daughter's hand. We want to be a family. Vivienne jerked her hand away. We tried that. It didn't work. Because you wouldn't let it work, Richard said, his voice gentle but firm. Sweetheart, you pushed us away. You lied to Marcus about us. You've kept our granddaughter from us. I protected my family from you. From us? Marlene's voice cracked. Vivienne, we love you. We've always loved you. But you need help. Professional help. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Maybe this isn't the place. No, Marcus needs to hear this, Richard insisted. Son, our daughter is ill. She has been for years. She has a pattern of isolating herself from anyone who might threaten her control. That's ridiculous, Vivienne snapped, but her voice was too loud. People at nearby tables were starting to look. Is it? I said quietly. Vivienne, your parents just want what I want, to be part of your family, to love Marcus and Emma. But you can't allow that, can you? Because love means sharing, and you don't know how to share. Stay out of this, Vivienne hissed. Why? Because I'm nobody? Because I'm just the sad, lonely woman who gave birth to Marcus? I looked at my son. That's what she told me on Sunday, that I don't fit into your perfect life. Marcus frowned. Viv, you said Mom left early because she wasn't feeling well. I did leave early. After your wife told me I was irrelevant. I didn't. Vivienne was sputtering now, her composure cracking. Marlene pulled out her phone. Marcus, there's something you need to know about your wife. Something she's kept from you. Don't you dare, Vivienne said, her voice deadly quiet. You were married before, Marlene continued. To a man named Michael Brennan. You were divorced after 18 months because of... Vivienne stood up abruptly, her chair screeching. This is ambush. You all planned this. You're all against me. We're trying to help you, Richard pleaded. By airing my private business in a public restaurant? By turning my husband against me? Vivienne grabbed her purse. Marcus, we're leaving. Now. But Marcus didn't move. He was staring at his wife like he'd never seen her before. You were married before? It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. Why didn't you tell me? Because it wasn't important. Your first marriage wasn't important? Marcus's voice was rising now too. What else haven't you told me? Marcus, please. Did you throw soup in my mother's face? Silence. Vivienne's mouth opened and closed. It was an accident. Was it? I pulled out my phone, pulled up the photos of my burns, handed it to Marcus. Does this look like an accident? Marcus stared at the images, his face going pale. Mom, you were really hurt. And she never apologized. Not really. I did apologize, Vivienne protested. I invited you to lunch. I made lasagna. You made lasagna so you could tell me I was pathetic and desperate, I said calmly. So you could threaten me. So you could make sure I knew my place. That's a lie. Is it? I pulled up the recording on my phone, pressed play. Vivienne's voice filled the air. You're just a sad, lonely woman who can't accept that her son grew up and chose someone better. Marcus's face transformed. Horror, recognition, betrayal. Marcus, I can explain. Vivienne reached for him, but he pulled away. Don't touch me. Marcus, they're manipulating you. Can't you see? Your mother, my parents, they're all jealous of what we have. What we have? Marcus's voice was shaking. Viv, I don't even know what we have. I don't know who you are. I'm your wife. I'm the mother of your child. You're someone who hurt my mother, who lied to me, who cut me off from everyone who cares about me. Marcus looked around the table, at me, at Marlene and Richard, at Emma, coloring obliviously. How long has this been going on? How long have I been blind? You're not blind, I said gently. You were manipulated. There's a difference. Vivienne was crying now, genuine tears for once.
but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of rage, of losing control. I did everything for you, Marcus. I made us a beautiful home. I gave you a daughter. I loved you. You isolated me, Marcus said, and his voice was suddenly clear. All my old friends, you said they were bad influences. My college buddies, you said they were immature. My mother. He looked at me, his eyes filling with tears. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, baby. I should have seen it. I should have known. She's very good at what she does, Marlene said sadly. She fooled all of us at first. Vivienne stood there, mascara running, her perfect facade crumbling. This isn't over. Yes, Marcus said quietly. It is. I want you to leave, tonight. Go stay with a friend. We'll figure out the details later, but I need you out of the house. You can't kick me out of my own home. Watch me. I'll take Emma. You'll never see her again. And there it was. The final threat. The ultimate control move. Marcus stood up, and he was taller than I remembered. Stronger. No, Vivienne, you won't. Because if you try, I'll file for divorce and full custody. And I'll bring all of this. He gestured at the table, at his grandparents-in-law, at me. To court. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every time you hurt someone I love. Vivienne opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She'd finally been beaten at her own game. She grabbed her purse and fled the restaurant, a trail of stares following her. The table sat in stunned silence for a long moment. Then Emma looked up from a coloring. Where did Mommy go? Marcus picked up his daughter, holding her close. Mommy had to leave, sweetheart, but Daddy's here and Grandma's here. He looked at me with tears streaming down his face. Grandma's here. I stood up and wrapped my arms around both of them, and for the first time in 5 years, I held my granddaughter without permission, without supervision, without fear. She smelled like crayons and baby shampoo, and she was perfect. The aftermath took months to sort out. Marcus filed for divorce within a week. Vivienne contested it, of course, but Jennifer had built an ironclad case. The recording. The testimony from her parents. Records from her first marriage. Marcus's own statement about the emotional abuse and isolation he'd experienced. The judge granted Marcus primary custody, with Vivienne getting supervised visitation pending psychiatric evaluation. Vivienne moved back to Connecticut, cut off once again from the family she'd tried to control. Marcus and Emma moved in with me temporarily while he figured things out. It was chaotic. A 3-year-old has a lot of energy, but it was also wonderful. We had breakfast together every morning. We read bedtime stories every night. We were a family again. Slowly, Marcus reconnected with his old friends. They'd been waiting, it turned out, ready to welcome him back. He started therapy to process the manipulation and abuse. He started dating again, carefully, cautiously. Marlene and Richard became regular fixtures in our lives. They'd missed years with Emma, and they were determined to make up for it. We celebrated holidays together, traded babysitting duties, built the family Vivienne had tried to destroy. One evening, about 6 months after the dinner at Quattro, Marcus and I sat on my back porch while Emma played in the yard. I still can't believe I fell for it, Marcus said. All of it, for so long. Love makes us vulnerable, I said. That's not a weakness, honey. That's what makes us human. I abandoned you. No, you were manipulated.
There's a difference. I should have listened to you. You weren't ready to hear it. Sometimes we have to learn lessons the hard way. Marcus was quiet for a moment, watching his daughter chase fireflies. That phone call you made to Detective Chen. That changed everything. I was tired of being burned, I said simply. He smiled at the pun, then turned serious. Thank you, Mom, for not giving up on me, for fighting for us. Always, baby, always. It's been 2 years now since that Thursday in October. The burns on my face healed within a few weeks, but the burns on my heart took longer. Marcus is doing well. He bought a house 3 blocks from mine, close enough for impromptu dinners, far enough for independence. Emma's in kindergarten now, thriving, surrounded by people who love her unconditionally. Vivienne sends cards on Emma's birthday. They go in a box in Marcus's closet, saved in case Emma wants to read them someday. Marcus is civil in their court-mandated communications, but nothing more. He learned his lesson about letting toxic people into his life. As for me, I learned something too. I learned that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to be silent. Refuse to accept abuse. Refuse to let someone else control the narrative of your life. I learned that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And I learned that one phone call, made at the right moment to the right person, really can change everything. The soup incident left scars, yes. But scars are just proof that we survived, that we healed, that we're stronger than we were before. Last week, Emma drew me a picture at school. It was our family. Her, Marcus and me, all holding hands under a rainbow. That's us, Grandma, she said proudly. That's us, I agreed, hanging it on my refrigerator where I could see it every day. No Vivienne in the picture. She'd written herself out of the story. And we were all better for it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's healing. It's rebuilding. It's taking back what someone tried to steal from you. It's making that one phone call that changes everything. And then living well.